Good morning. Happy Thursday. Happy debate day, everyone. Welcome into Geeks and Gamers Daily. I'm here with Ryan, who was really excited to get today's show started for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I think he's eating McDonald's after or something, so that's why he was happy.
I was super thrilled. I was just so ready and raring to go. I think we may have skipped the intro for some people again this time, Jeremy. YouTube might be a little slow on the uptake, so
maybe we need to extend this to 60-second countdown. Maybe we need to do that.
Maybe we just need to stop the countdown, just go live, and people can catch us whenever the fuck it actually goes live.
Maybe we can do that.
The intro's the worst part of the show, and that's saying something considering how bad the show typically is.
I don't know if I'd say that. The intro might be the best part of the show. This is a bad show. This is a really bad show.
I agree with that part. This
is a really bad show. But hello, everyone. Welcome into Geeks and Gamers Daily. And we have more Hollywood nonsense to cover because that's what we do here on this show. And that's right. You don't talk about, let's see, where did it go? Somebody said something. You don't talk about anything in the intro anyway. Yeah, I know. That's why it's probably the best part of the show, if we're being honest. I mean, especially, well, if Jay decides to sing, the intro is definitely the best part of the show.
But I disagree. We banned that whenever me and him are here.
That's it. Well, he doesn't do it anymore. If Jeremy's video looked delayed, I'm going to the other camera. Fuck it. Here, I'll just go to the other camera. It's gonna be bright as hell, but let me fix my lighting. Talk to him for a minute. Talk to him, Frost.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the camera you
It is.
use.
No, yesterday I used this camera and everybody says that I didn't have a delay.
Well, I guess we'll see when you go back. We'll see when you go back. It does not bother me in the slightest, but it really triggers everyone else, which is crazy because usually I'm the person that's bothered by everything that no one else cares about.
That is very true. That is very true.
But in this instance, there's some people that it bothers. Let's see you talk for a little bit, Jeremy.
Testing 1 2 3. What's up, Geeks and Gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video. I bet you there's no delay because my computer just runs significantly better when I'm not running the M50. Significantly better.
It looks the same to me, to be honest.
Shitty webcam for the win.
I think it's something in your audio settings. That's what I think it is. No. I used to have an issue for some reason. I used to have an issue when I was recording on Streamlabs where my fucking shit wouldn't be synced. I'd have to like stop and disconnect the audio and move it a little bit every time. I had no idea why it happened. And then one day it just stopped.
Yeah, everybody says there's no delay. This is yesterday. I used this cam and everybody's like, Jeremy, you don't have a delay today. Yeah, and I didn't even start out with the other camera.
It looks delayed to me.
Well, whatever. Who cares?
Looks delayed to me.
Let's just get this shit show started, man.
Jeremy needs
a camera. I can't afford one. I'm gonna pull a J. I'm gonna be like, I don't make no money on YouTube. I can't afford nothing. And then something happens. I got more money than all y'all. It don't matter. I got a good life.
Van Vertees for 5. Still can't get over the thick saber hilts. Everything about this show is just wrong. How do you mess up lightsaber hilt design? Hashtag retard wars. I think in general, they're maybe a little bit thicker than we're used to seeing. Specifically, we did see Jackie fight with Kelnaka's lightsaber, and like that should be bigger because Kelnaka has like massive. He's a fucking Wookiee, right? So it should be a little bit more custom for him. But yeah, in general, the hilts are a little bit thicker than I feel like we were normally used to. Probably because they've gone to the they've gone to the lightsabers that they actually want to be able to like be illuminated and all that shit so they can get the effects of the light, which has kind of made lightsaber combat a little slower and clunkier in my opinion. But
well, I mean, nothing about this show is meant to benefit Star Wars. Nothing. And that's what people have to understand. This is not Star Wars. This is not Star Wars at all. Everything they're doing is designed to move away from everything you've known about Star Wars. I mean, and that's just as simple as I can put it. I mean, it's just not Star Wars. It doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like a parody of Star Wars is what it feels like. A diversity parody of Star Wars. That's what it feels like.
It's funny that they announced the Spaceballs sequel, which, God, if there's not so much content they have right now to do a sequel. The question is, are they going to do it based off actual Star Wars stuff like prequel stuff, or are they going to take all this new shit? Because there's a lot to mock. There's a lot to play around with.
There's a lot.
Like,
really
and obviously Spaceballs was parodying Star Wars, not to just to be funny, right? Not to like take shots at Star Wars directly,
Right.
but if you wanted to get there now at this point, you have a lot of opportunities to do so.
Yeah, I don't know if they can do as good a job of parodying Star Wars as Lucasfilm is these days, but I guess they can try. Because right now it's really fucking bad. So overall, like, when is your episode coming out with Mauler? Or is it already released?
Some point probably later today, maybe, or tomorrow. There's a lot of editing that goes into them.
Okay. Yeah, but have you made a video on your channel talking about it yet?
No, I have about the specific episode. No, I think just by the fact that this episode didn't have as much dialogue or plot pushed forward, it may be the least worst of all of them. Because there was so much action, there wasn't as much time for them to embarrass themselves with writing. However, even with that being said, there's still a lot of things that do not make sense. May's allegiances or motivations switch with like the change of the wind every 5 minutes for no particular fucking reason. She was ready to turn herself into the Jedi. Then she wanted to fight the Jedi and run away. Then she wanted to run away from her master. Then she wanted to have whatever she was doing with Osha. And then Osha puts up a little bit of resistance, tries to arrest her in the middle of the forest for some reason, even though she has no cuffs. And she, then decides to knock out her sister and take her identity. To what end? I don't know.
Did you like the lightsaber cutting the hair bit? Did you think that was brave and
stunning? I thought it was very empowering. Cut off my dreads and break me from the chains of oppression. I liked it. I thought it was moving.
It's so fucking retarded, man.
Well, I bet there were so many people on set that day. They're like, this is going to be so empowering. And like, it was going to look so badass. The way she fucking poses after it.
Yeah.
I think everyone was hoping she'd just cut her head off.
The best part of this show, and I said this when I talked about it, was Milo Ren actor. He's the best. He's the best part of the show by far. But the writing of his character is terrible. But at least his acting is very strong. He's doing that despite the horrible dialogue that he has to use. But that guy's a really good actor. Everybody was saying, after I said that, everybody in my comments were saying he was in some other movie or show or something like that he was really good in.
I don't know. He's another one of those people that didn't actually have to audition. They just cast him, right? Like, no audition process. Leslie Headland just went to him and offered the job, just like virtually everybody that's in this show. And I thought there was some of it was fine. They're going for the look at this kind of quasi deranged, super powerful dude. The whole idea of him using the Jedi's rules against them. I think there's some interesting stuff there. I think there's some stuff that if it was well written, it could be worked with and be very interesting. Or even if Soul had actually given in and chopped his head off at the end, like that would be very interesting for Osha to witness, who's like, then she might be able to be manipulated by May after watching a Jedi, behead an unarmed man, right? But they never go there. Anytime there's a chance to do something actually interesting in the show, they cut to the next scene or just drop the topic altogether.
Yeah, me and you talked about this, but what are the chances that that Soul contacts the Jedi Council immediately upon getting on the ship and informs them of everything that just happened?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people talking about this episode, and yes, now that we know this is the threat has been revealed, the Sith has been revealed. If Soul goes and reports everything that's happened right now, then you're looking at either severe canon fucking violation, right? Or the Jedi cover this up too. And that's the way they explain it away. But we're going to have to wait till next episode to see what Saul does. I don't know why maybe May's using Saul to get on the ship. Maybe her plan is to take him off after that. If he doesn't immediately just call the Jedi and report what's happened, it's fucking retarded. Now, maybe Saul goes in there and is like, we need to get to Coruscant immediately. Maybe that's where they go. Like, if he refuse, because it does only take 30 minutes to get anywhere in the galaxy, so maybe he feels it could. But as of right now, we still don't have that report. We'll see what happens, because we still do know that Master Greenskin Vernestra she still has a sequence that looked to be on that same forest planet with her light whip. Remember from the trailer?
Yeah.
So I think that either maybe he doesn't get a message away. Maybe she tries to do something. Maybe it's because they haven't been in contact long enough and she goes there. Something like that is going to happen.
I think that they were hoping that this was like their Departed episode. You know, remember how in the Departed all that stuff happens in like a moment, everybody dies. I think they were hoping for that. It just was still cringy as hell. Holy shit, man!
Because I mean, there have been the idea that the Sith just they decided one day 1,000 years ago we're just going to stay hidden and nothing ever went wrong. Not really the case, right? Even we've got stories like that. There's been a couple times where the Sith have come like close to discovery. You know what I think would be cool would be if this series, instead of it being what it is, if you were actually going to do a series from the Sith point of view. Now it wouldn't have to be Sith we know. It could be Sith from 500 years before, whatever, right? And they could just be doing their normal thing, master and apprentice, slowly building power, making connections, getting ready to potentially take down the Jedi one day. And one of them makes a mistake, right? So not only does that cause some infighting between them, but the Jedi somehow potentially get wind of something and they start investigating. And like you have this whole plot of the Sith desperately trying to cover their tracks and stay one step ahead of the Jedi. Until maybe ultimately it does lead and there actually has to be a confrontation. Sith end up barely wiping out the Jedi and it ends up like not being anything. By the Jedi, I mean the couple that might know of this investigation. You could do stories like that. I would be much more interested in that story than the one they're telling.
No, but the problem is that, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. The problem is it's so far removed from reality of what Lucasfilm is ever going to produce. Just remember Rogue One, when Rogue One came out and all of our hopes and expectations for what that was going to be, you know, about like, this is going to be like the true war. And it was a diversity showcase. That's what Rogue One exists for. And then they got their really cool Vader scene at the end. I will say the last 45 minutes did have a lot of awesome action. I will give it credit for having a lot of awesome action, but it was a diversity showcase. That's what Rogue One was. I know a lot of people think that it's a great movie. It's not. Rogue One's not great. It's the best Disney Star Wars movie, but it's not that good. It's just not. And it's time to realize that. Just like I had to realize Force Awakens was never good, okay? Rogue One was never a good movie. You got really pulled in because of the Vader scene that really does nothing but make New Hope feel stupid as hell when you watch them back to back.
Yeah.
That's all it does.
It's a mid movie that gets like praised because of the last 20 minutes.
Yes.
That's what I think about it.
Yes.
But we're going to see more of Rogue One characters in the Andor series. In Andor season 2, they're going to bring in, because every 3 episodes is going to jump forward a year. It's like 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, like a year before Rogue One. So like slowly going to be building up to that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, you take Vader out of that movie. Do you still love Rogue One? No, not at all. Like, what's
my biggest problem was he didn't just fucking grab the damn dude. Like, just grab the fucking guy that had the thing. Like,
yeah,
that's the part that I always thought was so stupid. Yeah, it's cool to see Vader doing badass shit. I wish he just would have force grabbed, instead of force grabbing the dude and like slamming him up and down. Just force grab the guy that has the plans and bring him to you and slice his head off and grab his
and that doesn't hurt the next phase of Vader as bad as it does when he's a fucking ninja all of a sudden, and he's like the literal, like, it's like the Matrix in that scene. It's like Matrix Vader. And then the next time, and then we see him and Obi-Wan fight in New Hope, and it's the slowest thing we've ever seen, which is not a problem with that. But 20, 30, 40 years from now, somebody's watching that. Like, what happened to Vader?
Yeah, they need to oil his joints.
What happened?
He's like
to
the Tin Man.
Yeah. Oh, man. But anyway, that's that. Some people, definitely some disagreement in the chat. People like Rogue One. I think Rogue One, I never liked Rogue One that much. It's not, it is the best Disney Star Wars movie, though, for sure.
Glowbar. Gohan creates Prometheus Creations for $50. Talk to your buddy Theory, Jeremy. He thinks the ship will still write and saying grifting on the shit that's coming out of Disney is not as good as good things. Good things can be good, but Disney has reaped what they sown. Star Wars is dead. Hail.
Yeah, I actually did tell him that on the phone. We had a phone call a few days ago, and I told him, a lot of things about what I was thinking about the direction of everything. So, but a shout out to Star Wars Stuff account that banned me because they were basically calling out toxic fandom and talking about how there shouldn't be just all this negativity. And I said, yeah, I agree. Thank you for calling out the toxic fans that were wishing death on Theory, and then they blocked me. They blocked me. I was praising him for calling out the toxic fans. I don't know what happened there, man. Hurt my feelings.
Don't know.
I was like, I'm just trying to call out toxic fandom, and I was praising them for it, and they blocked me. It really hurt my feelings, but I'll survive.
Shan Dogs, member for 11 months. Grab your popcorn, boys. Benioff and Weiss definitely dodged a bullet with Disney, passing up a trilogy. Not a movie, a trilogy.
Not a movie. Talking about a trilogy. Need to bring that one back. Have you watched my episode 5 video?
No, I haven't.
You don't know what I did in the beginning?
No.
I did not have it planned. I did not. And I just start out like a full-on Disney shill. It's like, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just watched the Acolyte episode 5. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in the history of Star Wars. It had so much diversity. It was so action. It was better than anything. I just went on for like 45 seconds. Then I got a phone call. Disney told me they weren't paying me. So then I started being honest about it.
I did like seeing Yord get his neck snapped. That was pretty sick.
That was pretty good.
I actually like that part. The problem is it's so stupid, right? For Yord gets directed by Soul. Hey, take her out, get her back to the ship. And part of that is also it's Yord's responsibility to inform the rest of the Jedi what the fuck is going on. As you have this Terminator who's just slashing through your ranks and destroying all these Jedi. Like, it is very important to inform the council. That's part of his responsibility as well. So not the first time or the second time that Osha makes the same plea with him to go back, but it's the third time that he finally decides to go along with it. But that is one of the reasons, right, that the Jedi do forbid attachments like that. Attachments that make you shirk your duty because you want to do something to, whether it's save somebody or whatever it may be. And Yord gets overwhelmed, I guess, whether it's his attachment to those people, whether it's attachment to Osha, who knows? And he makes a bad decision, gets one little cool sequence and gets his neck immediately snapped, which I thought was great.
Well, I'm thinking, did you go to Rotten Tomatoes and upvote it? Because it went from 13 to 14% after this episode. So I think that, did you go over there because of Yord's death and give it an upvote? Is that what you did, Brian?
I didn't. Like it started at 14 for the episode, then it went to 13. Now it's up to 14. Like I said, it's going to take a lot to bring that down too much more.
Yeah.
Like, as an aggregate site. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a lot.
I mean, we're already dealing with the lowest rated show of all time, at least on that site for any Star Wars product, I think, right? There's nothing. What was the lowest before this one?
Well, actual like product, I think it was the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, which is dog shit.
And then the holiday special was beneath that too.
Okay.
Holiday special was like 20%.
Okay.
Which,
yeah,
to me that like stands on its own. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is worse than the holiday special in terms of audience reaction. What do you think about Jackie in this in that episode?
That her dying?
Well, her entire
her
after all these Jedi get fucking destroyed.
Oh, in the fight with Silo Ren.
Yeah, the Padawan who not only takes on May, she has her lightsaber on her belt the entire time. She decides never to take it out, never to use it, never to do anything, and she's able to take down May just one-on-one, no weapons. Did better than Master Indara was able to do, right? That we saw in the beginning. You, this Padawan, who is able to get cuffs on May, and then able to fight Smilo Ren to a standstill effectively.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was bullshit. I actually thought there was some decent like saber work and stuff that was thrown in. And I do think, even though it's a very low bar, and there were still some really weird and stupid things they did choreography wise, I think it was the best lightsaber combat we've seen in Disney Star Wars, which is like being the smartest retard.
I agree with that. I guess the thing with Jackie is like it's obviously stupid. It doesn't stand out as being overly stupid because everything else is stupid. Everything else is centered around strong women characters. May and Osha are basically the new chosen ones. You know what I mean? So we're already seeing all these women going around being badass. So I guess if anything, at least I'll give them consistency. You're just keeping that nonsensical narrative that women run the galaxy, women rule the galaxy. Obviously, that scene in particular does it's definitely there. You definitely notice the nonsense around it, but it's in the middle of so much other nonsense. Like this whole show is built around building up women as the most dominant force in the entire galaxy. That's what this show's about. That's what this show is about. Women run things. They tell the men what to do. The whole time, Leslie Headland's wife is talking down to Saul the whole fucking time in front of every fucking body else. She's talking down to him. The whole show is about, this is all the show's about. It starts out with Carrie-Anne Moss being the old wise Jedi only to get fucking killed. That's what this show's about. That's it.
And then like, I also think that there was some weird editing shit. I don't know if it was in editing or if it was just a stupid thing they did. Sol is like mysteriously missing for the first entire part of the fight where all his Jedi buddies are getting killed. He randomly comes in from a different part of the screen later on. But also there's sometimes where he's just standing there doing nothing. Like when Yord came in and fucking comes in with the helmet, shorts out the lightsaber, all this shit, and then he snaps Yord's neck. Sol is just standing there, not doing shit for a long fucking time. Also, the entire like coat whirl to like throw your coat on Sol, just to then like grab somebody nonsensically that you didn't need to in the moment to choke her while Sol like gets it off his head. It was such a weird fucking sequence. But ultimately, again, May's motivations make zero sense at all. I don't know why. Maybe her goal is to get back to Coruscant in some way and infiltrate the Jedi Temple. I have no idea what her fucking
I don't think they know.
Goals are. Well, I think they know, but I don't think they've told us at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, like, it's because the ultimate goal is representation in this show. That's the goal of the show, not to tell a good story. It's just not the. And do you think they're all going to die? Like, what's the future for these characters? Like, what do we when this show ends?
Well, there's two options. Like, all the Jedi involved with this die, which is kind of what I assumed would happen from the beginning. Now, all of them are except Sol. All of them die, or the only other thing that they're going to do is an actual like Jedi cover-up of something. And with what we've seen from Master Vernestra, who seems to be willing to keep everything from the council, I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that. And what I've always kind of guessed might happen is they get word Master Vernestra doesn't want anybody to be informed. They get there. They finally think that they've found the people, right? You've got the Master who is Chimere, and they think that May was his acolyte to become his apprentice or whatever. And the Jedi make the assumption that this guy's the Master when in fact he's probably just an apprentice to the Sith Master. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they think they've taken care of the threat and eliminated it, but it's actually still out there. Maybe they might do something like that.
What do you think of the Knights of Ren theories out there about him being connected to Knights of Ren?
So I totally was on that side of things just because the way he said, well, you might refer to me as a Sith. I thought it was a real cagey way of saying it. But there's a new article from Entertainment Weekly, a big interview they did where he confirms he's a Sith Lord. Let's see if I can find the quote.
So now you don't think that he's tied to that?
No, not based off that.
What a stupid fucking show this is. Now let me catch super chats while you're doing that really quick. Instead of being like Jay, he'll just sit here in silence while you're looking for something.
Thank you.
Jay will just start staring off into the, like, let's see. Murnum 007. Hey guys, it's for 20. Just wanted to send some love on my birthday. Thanks for giving me something to listen to while at work. Hail. Well, hail. Why don't you get the day off for your birthday? Come on, we got to get that set up. But thank you so much. They didn't have. They said it was their birthday, but they were at work. It's like you should get the day off for your birthday. Let's make it happen.
What are we fucking women? What are you talking about? Who does that?
I'm being nice to the person that sent me $20. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Dana White says, "Are you reacting to the debate today?" 1000%. We will be live on CobraCast later today, covering the debate. Now I don't know exactly what CNN's going to pull, because there's all these reports that they're not going to allow people to react. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'll be live on Rumble. I'll be live on Twitter. I'll be live on Kick, and I'll be live on YouTube, and we will see what happens. So there you go.
So this is from this big Entertainment Weekly spot that hit essentially the day after the Acolyte came out, where they had an interview with Manny Jacinto, who's like, "I'm happy I don't have to lie about this anymore, blah, blah, blah." There's another element to the stranger beyond mere force and force. We wanted a character that was not just oppressive and powerful, but when you see him, you feel disturbed by him. We wanted a character that isn't just a Darth Vader type of guy who overpowers the screen. It's the concept of the uncanny. It can be a stumble in a person's walk or a twitch in someone's eye. It's very subtle, and it's just like this uncomfortableness that people experience, and that's what we wanted to hone in on for this Sith Lord. So that's from the actor who plays Chimere, Manny Jacinto. So as much speculation as there's been, and I was part of that, about him maybe being another kind of dark side force user or whatever, they're saying he's a Sith.
Okay, there you go.
But I think he's probably a Sith apprentice and not like the Sith master.
Yeah.
The Jedi might not figure that out.
I think that, so you have 3 episodes left, and I have no idea what they're going to do. I have no idea how they're going to tell 3 more. Like, I guess they're 30-minute episodes, because all of these episodes are like 30 minutes with this $180 million budgeted show.
One of them still got to be a flashback episode, too. Like, we are absolutely going to have a flashback episode from May's perspective, and to understand what the Jedi did that they find so much guilt for 16 years ago. Like,
murdered
100%.
all them women. That's what they did. They murdered them all.
Maybe.
I think Saul murdered them all.
I think Kelnaka was running a train on him. I think Kelnaka was just in there fucking these witches, and Master Torben came in and he bitch slapped him. That's how he got that cut across his eye.
I think we're gonna see all the Jedi wearing "Make Star Wars Great Again" hats with tiki torches walk in there. That's what the footage is gonna show us. It's gonna expose them as the toxic people that they are. That's what we're gonna get. George Lucas was leading them. So
yeah, maybe that'll happen. Kendon B, the train wreck is the best part of my mornings, and I hate mornings. Thank you. Special J for 2. Gonna be crazy tonight. Trump 24. P.S. I'm special.
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be awesome. Dan for 50. Dan Ryman, not Dan Bass.
Okay, I was going to say, why you get excited if it was Dan?
Yeah, but this one's for you, Ryan. Here you go.
Ryan, I've seen a lot of folks that want a show for Starkiller. How? Dave Filoni already destroyed Starkiller's story in The Bad Batch by destroying the Camino facility shortly after Order 66. I've heard you played the Force Unleashed games. Thoughts? I mean, I have, and I was not the biggest fan of the Force Unleashed games. Like, I thought they were fun. It was a little bit more like.
Is it the story you didn't like about?
The story was okay to me, but the story was okay and the combat was okay, right? Which is why I'm not as hyped about that game. To me, it was fun. It felt like, God of War as a Jedi, but is that really what a lightsaber shouldn't really feel like it's a baseball bat. A lightsaber to me should feel like it has like meaningful damage when you do something, which is why I always like the Jedi Knight games. I still think that combat from like Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy is still to this day the best lightsaber combat we've seen in a Star Wars video game, including shit like the new ones, Jedi Survivor and everything.
Force Unleashed, just I do understand where you're coming from about why you had issues with it from that perspective, man. They were so fucking fun to just. They were really fun.
Yeah.
The high moments were high, and it was incredible, man. It made you feel like an absolute badass playing those games. It really did. Just watching bodies fly across the map and shit. So good, man. I love them.
But as we've to address the question, how could they do it? They don't care about any type of continuity. One, even if they themselves have established by Disney, but especially before that, they don't give a shit. They'll take a character, they'll put him in a different time frame, they'll give him a different purpose, they'll give him a different story, but his name will stay the same, and they'll expect you to fucking just be, oh my God, this is incredible. Right? They've done it with Thrawn. They've done it over and over again. For people that are saying, well, you know, it's too early, or like Plagueis shouldn't be alive right now. Guess what? Neither should Coyote Mundi. So like they will do anything. They don't care about whatever was previously established. If they think they can pick something from the rotted corpse of the expanded universe that they killed, they'll do it in a heartbeat.
That is true. They will. They've proven that time and time again.
See, Mr. Dangs with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Mr. Dangs. Over on the Rumble side, Orozco for $1 says, "Are you retarded?" Thank you. Orozco for another $1. "I'm coming for Ryan's lesbian hair." Eric John Pizza Artist for 2. "Leslie Headland looks like Wicket from the Battle for Endor Ewok movie, and the proof is in the replies into the stream on X." Well, there you go. I'll take a look at it.
David Hand for 20 gifted memberships. Look at that. Look at those gifties flying in the chat. Thank you, David. Dom H with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Dom H. Look at all those name tags on Dom H from the meetup right there. Looking forward to another one. I don't know when the next one's scheduled for it. Orlando is the one we're involved in setting up. So we'll see how that one goes. Mr. Dangs with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Mr. Dangs. You guys are too much today, and we're just getting started. That's the best part. Let's see. Red Mage says, "Agree with Ryan about Rogue One. When I was watching that hallway scene with Vader slowly walking towards him, I was wondering, why doesn't he just force grab the drive with the plans, or the guy trying to hand them off?"
Yeah.
There you go, Ryan.
This is the picture he was talking about.
Oh, man.
There you go. She's excited to talk about Star Wars, guys.
What's your favorite Star Wars? All the Star Wars.
That is one thing that I think they need to do a lot better job of in any of like Force user combat. I think they need to do a better job of showing people blocking incoming Force attacks, right? Because right now, pretty much anytime somebody uses a Force push or a Force pull or whatever, it works, right? That person gets brought into a lightsaber, that person flies back, like whatever. I think they need to do a much better job of showing moments where people actually are able to resist those Force actions, those Force attacks, and stop them. Otherwise, then people will just ask the question, well, why don't they just fucking use the Force? Boom, 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 boom. If it never fails, why don't you just pick this guy up? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? They need to show them actively pushing back on those Force attacks for it to make a little bit more logical sense why they're not just constantly being used if someone can counter it. But I don't know.
They need to do a lot more than just that, but I hear your point.
That guy for 5. Do you think Disney would start editing episodes 1 through 6 to remove the canon arguments from their project? Also, Steph is best. No, they don't care. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, they really aren't worried about their own arguments. They actively just do not care about Star Wars canon or Star Wars fandom or Star Wars history. They just don't. Hayden Wayne for 20 says, "Remember, there was a trans witch, so it's not like they were actual lesbians. They just couldn't conceive because of the hormone therapy. They had to resort to forced conception to make the twins laugh in my ass off." Oh God. That's good, Hayden. That's good.
Chris Horitos for 5. "I'm not working right now because you're gay. Duh. LOL." Well, there you go. Steve Fitch for 5. "The worst thing that happened to Star Wars was when it inherited Disney adult fandom when Lucasfilm was sold. RIP Star Wars."
Disney adult fandom and that fanfic, it's the most disgusting thing you'll ever see. It really is. The number one thing that you just shouldn't do as an adult is talk about your sexual fantasies on the internet. You just should never do it. And if you do, you're a fucking weirdo. It's that simple. Keep that shit private.
Especially if you want them to be put in family entertainment.
Yes, you're a fucking freak. There's nothing wrong with having whatever freaky shit you want to do in the privacy of your own home. When you bring that shit to the internet, you're a fucking weirdo and you should be judged as such. There is no excuse for that. Leave that shit out of your public life and entertainment. This is not complicated.
Yeah, you freaks. Old Man Rising for $10. I directly owe Ryan Kennel a direct apology. Just because Filoni could and should have been the one to save Star Wars didn't mean he would, and I'm old enough to know the difference. Keep the heat up. Well, I appreciate it. No apology necessary. I'm just glad more people woken up now. But thank you, Old Man Rising.
He said woke. He said woke.
I did. Janelle's for $5. Dave Filoni is Kevin Pollak's gay twin brother. Well, definitely the gay part. David Smart for $2. I'm a watch The Quiet Place prequel today. Hope it okay. I hope it's okay too. I like the first movie a lot. Second one was okay. We'll see. The one thing about these movies, they do want a budget. Mm-hmm. Like I think this movie costs like $65 million or something. So you're not looking at needing to blow up at the box office to break even. Sideways Stand for $199. Ryan, did you see your cameo in the Red Letter Media Acolyte vid? Like they had me talking in it. I know some of thumbnails of mine appeared, and you might have heard my voice in a big cacophony of other Acolyte critics' voices, but I don't know if they had like me solo. I didn't watch it. I just heard that from a couple people. But I guess I'll have to check it out later. Tobias for $5. I don't trust the new Spaceballs to be good. It won't be able to do nearly the same level of comedy with the wokies in charge.
When's the last time we had a legitimately good comedy?
I don't know. Like
a
seriously.
Movie? Yeah, like a movie that came out that was like a legitimately good comedy. That's I mean,
I don't know. I'd have to like go back and look. But
Acolyte, yeah, the Acolyte. Tropic Thunder, Deadpool. I guess you could say Deadpool, but I feel like it's not a straightforward comedy, even though it's more comedy than anything. But I don't know if I'm talking like your Hangovers, your Superbads.
Yeah,
Office Space is one of the greats. I love Office Space.
Yeah, we just don't. I guess I don't feel like we see as many people. Like I feel like we don't have as many of those movies made nowadays. Like comedies in general. You know what I mean? I felt like every month there used to be some fucking dumb comedy coming out that you could take. Whatever. I've got a random Friday. I'm at the mall. I'll go see this movie.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're not making a lot of those anymore.
22 Jump Street. Did I even see 22 Jump Street?
I like 22 Jump Street.
I feel like I did see it, but I just don't remember it.
I liked it. Yeah.
Dodgeball. Great. Love Dodgeball, obviously. But yeah, we just don't get that many.
General Duality for $2. Hail, I'm 4 followers away from 100 on Twitter. Thanks to anyone who follows me. I don't pay for premium, and all I did was a little trolling.
Nice.
Yes, man, for $1. Trump in the debate. First off, fuck your bitch and the clique you claim. West Side, when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.
Dude, if Trump opens up with hit him up, he will get all the black vote if he opens up with the opening line from hit him up.
For all the black men, at least. Vault 95 survivor Jeremy. See any 99.99 recently?
Say what now?
See any 99.99 recently?
I don't know what that's in reference to.
No.
I know what he's talking about. So yesterday, Steph was putting the Rumble rants in the private chat like she always does. And then we were talking about the Smilo Ren Black Series helmet, and she put in like $99.99, and I thought it was a $99.
We got a big super chat on Rumble.
So I read it as a $99.90. We got a big $99 super chat. So that's what he's talking about.
Volt 95 survivor for another $1. Have you confronted Beardo yet for using aimbot to defeat Liquid Snake? Let Warwolf know.
I'm going to encourage him to use aimbot so he can be better at games. So we'll work on that.
You know, with all this Smilo Ren, Knights of Ren like speculation, what if this guy's actually the Sith? but May ends up like escaping whatever, and she becomes the person who starts the Knights of Ren.
I could see it. 1000% could see it. 1000%. It's going to be centered around a female. No doubt. Whatever the end of this show is going to be centered around those two and women representation.
I think Leslie Headland's wife is actually Darth Plagueis. It would actually
hope so. I kind of hope so.
Because of like how stupid she is and like how she's trying to cover everything up. It would almost make sense. I mean, except for the fact that Plagueis is not a woman and immune and all those things and not alive during this. Well, maybe like 10 years old during this time.
What if
Sideways?
What if she's the master? What if she's the master?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think you're right. Actually, I think she probably is the master.
I don't think she is, but it would be one of the only things to justify her actions. You know what I mean? With how she's tried to keep everything from the council.
I think she is, Ryan. I'm not bullshitting.
The reason I don't think she is because of the way this character was built up in the books. This is a character that existed previously in the High Republic era.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, then that does throw a little wrench.
Right, and was like super goated. Oh, she's a 15-year-old Padawan, and she's more advanced than anyone we've ever seen. Like that type of person, right?
Okay.
So for them to have this character be there, awesome girl boss, prodigy,
yeah,
to have that female character end up being a Sith, I don't think they would do that.
I had to
but what they're showing with her though, I just don't get some of it though.
Yeah, I hope she turns out to be bad though. I think
it'd be funny. John, the casual artist for 2. Ryan cosplaying as Ezra Miller. That shirt. Yeah, my Flash shirt. Me and Ezra Miller, 2 peas in a pod. We'll both choke a bitch. Kalyoth for 2. Spaceballs 2. The Search for More Money. Hey, they told us what the sequel would be decades ago. Sophie, member for 16 months. All hail the Fellowship and the 199. Can we get the GCA to 500 subs? They're doing a great job. Whoop, whoop.
I think we can do that. Hail to the GCA. Where are they at now?
I don't know.
They got to be, what are they at? Let me know what they're at now. We can get them to 500.
Ara Akbar go boom for 2. It's my favorite gay couple in the morning. Hello.
That's just me.
Chris R for 5. I'm still trying to figure out how lightsabers were disrupted when the light beams were hit and not the power source. Okay, so cortosis is something that's been around for a long time. It's even been in Disney canon ever since they took over. Basically, they took it from where it had been previously established and expanded universe, brought it into canon. Essentially, what it does, because it is a beam of light, but it's a circulatory feedback loop effectively, and Cortosis is able to interrupt that feedback loop temporarily, shut a lightsaber down. It's a super rare material that's notoriously very difficult to work with. So it's tough. Like if normal people come across it, it's not like you can just take this Cortosis and be like, hey, it's going to be really easy for us to just make this into armor or something. That's not the way it worked. But I feel like there should have been some explanation in the show, whether it's a little time before or after something. I feel like it should have been important to establish what Cortosis is and what it can do to lightsabers, so people aren't just speculating wildly because they don't read the books. You know what I mean?
Yep. Alec Baldwin's finger says 460 subs. Link it, guys. And let's get them to 500. So
let's get him to 500.
Hail to the GCA.
Taker for $5. When I opened the stream from the AI summary, it said you guys were criticizing gay Star Wars. Smilo was threatening to kill May, and Soul is like, no. Yeah, Soul is
an idiot.
Interesting.
He's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
A lot of his actions make no sense, and it is clear that he struggles with attachment and emotions and things like that. Like they've shown that a couple times in this series. And he's made some pretty stupid decisions. The fact that he can't sense that May is pretending to be Osha is retarded.
He is retarded.
Because of how different these two girls grew up, they would feel their personalities would feel so completely different to him in the Force.
I like your impression of him though. It's really good. Can you read super chats as Soul?
Sure. May, how dare you associate the departed with this crap?
It's really good. It's really good.
It's just generic Asian person.
I know it is. It's just you're good at impersonations.
Sometimes. Let's see. Thomas Gilkey. Keep being amazing. Much love to everyone. Struggling a fair amount mentally and struggling to keep going. Shout out to Rev Soli, an amazing person. Well, I hope you do better, Thomas. Sorry to hear about that, buddy.
Shout out to you, Thomas. Keep up the good work, buddy.
Gremlin Anku for 5. So I guess Master Squid Game can't feel OSHA's force signature, even though he worked with her for so long. What shit writing? Yeah, like I just said, that doesn't. Even though it's a short episode and there's a lot of action involved, even the other things that do happen don't make any fucking sense. But there's a couple things, though, that I thought that would come true that kind of did. I thought that the bugs were going to come in and disrupt the fight. I didn't know May was going to lead them there. I just thought with all the lightsabers waving around, they'd be attracted to it, and that's what would help some Jedi escape. And then just because of how like stupid that setup was in the previous episode, it's like, oh, random monster flies straight toward lightsaber, boom. And without even giving us an opportunity to theorize, they're like, oh, it's attracted to light. All right. So you knew that was clearly going to pay off, that they set that up for one specific reason. But I also thought that we'd end up at the end of the episode with May and Asha on opposite sides of where they were before, which didn't end up happening. Not the way I thought it would, though.
I just like the emotional roller coaster that these chicks are on and how they go from hating each other to like, I didn't know you were even, first of all, I didn't know you were alive. So I know you're alive. We hate each other. Now we love each other. I'm turning myself in. Now I'm not turning myself. Now I'm cutting my hair off. Now it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, all of this has happened in like a 4-hour span.
Yeah, it's really
weird. By the way, all of this shit has happened from the time May and Chimere land on that planet. They say we have 3 hours of life left to go find Kelnaka. She goes through this whirlwind where she decides to betray Chimere and turn herself into the Jedi. Then when she finally finds the Jedi, she refuses to turn herself in, then tries to run away, then fights the Jedi, then runs away, tells her master she's sorry, then runs away from her master, saves or stuns Soul and wants to have this get back together. Let's get the band back together with Osha, only for her to try to arrest her, which makes no sense. May's way more fucking powerful than she is. What are you going to do? Put her hand behind her back and hold it there and walk all the way back to the fucking ship? Like, none of what Osha's doing makes any sense. None of what May's doing makes any sense.
It's so fucking stupid.
But anyway, should we talk about Disney?
That's what happens when you hire Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, to be the showrunner for this show. It was never going to be good. Ever. There was never a chance for this show to be good and have a cohesive story ever. There was never even a chance. That's why I don't even like breaking down like, well, they could have done X, Y, or Z. They were never going to do X, Y, or Z. They were never going to. It was never going to happen. It's just never about telling a good story.
Well, I like throwing those things out there because there's so many ways that they could do things better than what they are doing. And there's so many better options that they could have taken. And some of it is trying to come up with, okay, well, what if they did this? Would this make sense? Usually they're going to choose the least sensible option, right? That's what we've seen. But I still think it's good to point it out. But speaking of pointing things out, Disney employees and undercover cameras have bit them in the ass lately. We saw Michael Giordano, vice president of 20th Century TV. James O'Keefe found him. He said some things he probably shouldn't have said on camera. He gets tracked down, runs away in his Tesla. Well, now we've got another person who works at Disney revealing some things.
Let's go.
Revealing some things on hidden camera to an OMG undercover journalist. Now, this time, it is Walt Disney's television director of production finance, Saurabh Dave Makkar, if I'm saying that right. And this is, in his view, what Disney's goal is. Now, he talks a little bit about Disney hiring when it comes to executive levels. He talks a little bit about Bob Iger. He talks about the LGBTQ agenda in kid shows, stuff like this. Let's listen.
So you think that they wouldn't hire a C-suite who's not white or not Jewish?
In entertainment, no. There's also like glass ceiling for that. I feel like it's not. There's a glass ceiling. It's not quite like being breached yet. You're not going to see a CFO I guess, for lack of a word, non-white, non-Jewish.
Unless you are a
Now, I do think it's interesting that you had the one white guy earlier say that, at the writer level, when it's looking for actors, when it's looking for a lot of people, Disney doesn't want to hire anyone that's white. Now you've got a non-white guy saying that for the most important things, right, the big time fucking execs in the C-suite, that Disney doesn't want to hire anyone unless they're white or Jewish, which I thought was interesting.
And I'll say this, what I said when I reacted to one of these other videos, if James O'Keefe was calling out right-wing stuff, he would be a national hero to the media. He would be he would be the biggest thing in media. But because he's calling out Disney and left-wing stuff, they act like he doesn't exist. This dude is an absolute Chad. This dude's awesome.
white Jewish man, well, you're likely never going to see Disney's C-suite.
She was like Asian and Hispanic.
Haitian.
Hispanic mix. Just left Disney like a month ago. She left because she didn't really have. She's a woman. She didn't really have either of the bosses in her corner.
Okay.
And she quit saying that she just is like, I just not feeling right. So I feel. And that being said, that the department heads are two Jewish men. It's not that I'm any against this man. I'm just saying that being of color, felt that it should be.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. That was that kind of vibe right there.
Yeah.
Because she just said, I can't seem to like him.
The very well qualified Haitian Hispanic woman who had rapidly worked her way up the Disney ladder left the company, acknowledging that she likely had no future there, oddly enough, because she wasn't white, Jewish, or man enough.
So maybe there's this.
Now, what I personally think is a lot of these people, because he's like, well, look at me, I'm not as high up because I'm not this, I'm not that. I think with both sides of this thing that's coming out, I think there's a lot of that goes into this when you're talking about individual employees.
Yeah.
It does. How do they fucking find these people? Like on these dating apps.
It does go like I do wonder about that, about like how much goes into this, how much time do they put into finding, because it's real easy to see this moment and think like, oh, wow, person went undercover, got some footage. Now we're all enjoying it. But the reality of it is there has to be like thousands of man hours put into just getting to this moment. You know what I mean?
I want to see. I guarantee this might make you feel better. If you're on a dating app and you don't get any matches, it's just because all the women are on there to try to find Disney executives. All right? That'll make you feel a little bit better about it.
I like how the common theme, and I see Durpo says it, they've got to be so hot, meaning these women.
Juxtaposition between corporations, especially in entertainment, that say, we want diversity and all these things, but then in reality,
it's a number. I've done the reports for diversity inclusion. They make us do every year, saying, okay, look at the shows, tell us the diverse cast, all crew members are in there. So the same number can't go up. I'm like, yes, it's gone up, but I feel like that's like a forced metric.
Does every department have diversity spreadsheets? I'm seeing a pattern here. And that is from Disney's hiring practices.
What about like the LGBTQ?
Yeah.
I want to see them do it more in like the kids shows.
I agree. Yeah, it's the way the world is. You can't pretend it doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
And say oh, we're just going to show one section of society. That's all the world is. The world is full of everybody.
Right.
And that should be on screen.
So Disney's philosophy is that you're never too young to learn about the LGBTQ.
Does that mean we're
agenda.
going to get a MAGA stuff, pro MAGA stuff in kids shows?
Hey, that's all that reflects the world's diversity, right?
It's just reflecting the world, guys. We just want to reflect the world, so we should have a pro MAGA. By the way, I personally would not want to see that in kids entertainment, just like I don't want to see any of the left-wing stuff. I don't think that you should have political messaging in kids shows, period, end of discussion. But that's their argument. It's always their argument. Well, it's just part of the world and we're just trying to represent the world. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, I also think this guy could just be saying whatever he can to fuck someone. There's also the possibility there too.
That is a very strong possibility that I think it's lost in a lot of this because a lot of people are just so happy that a Disney person is being exposed. But the reality of it is these guys will say,
we've all said a lot of things,
yes,
you know, we've all said a lot of things at some point in time. But if this guy wasn't fired before, this question might be the one that does it. If it'll actually go.
Do you think Bob Iger is corrupt?
Now, yes. Now he just wants to stay in power.
He, like many, believe Bob Iger is corrupt. And if you look at the recent filings of Disney shareholder Nelson Peltz, it seems others carry the same sentiment.
Now, do you think Bob Iger's corrupt? Now, yes. I think he'll do anything he can to stay in power.
woo.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Not good. I'll probably do a reaction to this whole video. I have not watched this one yet. I've done the other two. They did very well on the channel. I have not seen this one yet, so I might try to do this before the debate.
Yeah, here's the warning, guys. If you're out there, if you're on a date with somebody who looks strangely out of your league that you matched on a dating app, and they just keep talking about your job, be careful. That's the lesson learned from all of this.
Yep.
Maybe. But it is funny that
man.
it just keeps happening.
I just, it's amazing because, yeah, you're right, though, man. Like, how does the process even go for them to... How do they
get
even
on dating
get
apps in the area where these people live? And I don't know how they can fucking tell. Maybe they just got.
Do they have it?
Do Disney execs?
Do they have their do they put that they're a Disney executive with their pronouns in their dating app bio?
I don't think they do that, but it just based off their pictures.
Yeah,
who knows?
That's wild, man. But good work on the O'Keefe Media Group. They're doing great work, and you love to see it.
Doc Tour. Twitch paycheck for 5. Be back soon, guys. Just sorting out some minor issues. Thank you, Doc. Jason Yankovic for 5. A Sith-focused sitcom. Sith just doing Sith things and hilarity ensues. Think of The Office, but with Sith. Or just add a laugh track to the Acolyte. Tobias for 5. Rogue One should have been about Kyle Katarn dropping Imperials and stealing the Death Star plans like a Star Wars version of Inglourious Bastards. Should have been, but instead Rogue One was a bastardized, gender-swapped Kyle Katarn and Jan Ors. They didn't even bother trying to make them look that different. Ryan Soli for 5. Smilo Ren, I want freedom and not to be bothered by the Jedi. Also, Smilo, let me kill the Jedi and let them know we exist. Well, I think once he fucking revealed himself, he had to fucking... That was his, at least, thought, is once I reveal myself, I got to kill everybody that sees me. Brendan Bellman for 5. Hate the show, but I do give props to the actor playing the Sith. You can tell he got in shape for the role and actually cared. He was in good shape. So 100%.
Yeah, I thought he was the best part of the show. Easily.
Andy plays games. Star Wars is thousands of years ahead of us tech-wise. Why didn't the Jedi just have body cams or live stream it to the Jedi? Well, there are limitations in terms of their communication, right? So a lot of ships might have the HoloNet equipped where you can do real-time transmission all a galaxy away, right? But that's not something you carry in your pocket like a cell phone or whatever. In terms of body cams, I guess they could have body cams, but there are certain limitations to their equipment. So Sol, now that he's back in the ship, should be able to make a report. And if he doesn't, it's fucking retarded. Maybe May tries to stop him before he does. I don't know. Gene the Machine for 5. Smilo Ren's dialogue about being free to do what he wants is Gen Z level cringe that makes the Sith so petty. Gunzy for 10. Can we talk about how pointless Jecky's fight was? What was the point of a Padawan outperforming a Jedi Master in multiple nights just to get stabbed? Hashtag girl boss moment.
That's right.
At least she fucking died. But it shouldn't have taken that long to play out. And have him need to pull out his little Shoto saber for that moment. Chris Bolts for 5. F this shitter light BS. Here's the most important question. Who wore the tight black masochist outfit better, Michelle Pfeiffer or Carrie-Anne Moss? Probably Michelle Pfeiffer.
Probably Michelle Pfeiffer, but I'm going to say something unpopular. Anne Hathaway.
Oh, yeah. And when she lays down on that bike.
Anne Hathaway.
It looks good.
Yep.
Demogenite for 5. Even if it makes it seem like they killed the Sith, it still breaks lore. Either the Jedi are liars or dumb. Well, it depends how they handle it. But this idea that some people have in their heads that for 1,000 years the Sith never ran into like any problems or were almost discovered or whatever, that, as we've seen throughout the course of Star Wars history, that's not true, right? But they were able to keep their secret from people that mattered. But if that's in the form of a Jedi cover-up instead of them doing something to stop it, then I think that's fucked up.
A lot of Kate Beckinsale's in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
I would agree.
Underworld. Iron Wolves for 20. Do the woke swamps intersect? Will we see a Darth Mulvaney asking for space wisers or a Kaepernick with a Nike-endorsed Jedi robe? Shamrock for $2.99. OMFG, they announced Dead Rising remaster. Let's go. Nice.
Did they? Nice. Did we get the GCA to 500? Where are they at? Gonna be getting close. So drop that link, some more chat or mods and chat if you want to. GCA is a group of fans basically that made their own thing, and it's awesome. They do good stuff.
Yep. Go check them out. Caveman Dave for 10 pounds. You think Torben took the poison because all the Jedi who likely banged in his floating chamber and made him watch? Makes you think. No, he feels guilty for whatever they did on that fucking planet. And because he's white. Gohan creates Prometheus Creations for 10. We'll have a vote up later today. I'm hoping on my YouTube channel to vote for a new avatar banner to be on my socials. New stuff made will be centered around what wins for the fans. There you go. Very cool. Joey Bag of Donuts for 5. The 360 store has begun its closeout sale. Some games are as low as 47 cents. Check it out before the end of the month.
Damn. That's wild.
Very appropriate on Pride Month that Xbox has massive sale. Corey Castle for 20. Not to give unnecessary props to Headlamp like she's being subtle, but the Sith Lord or whatever, Chimere, didn't murder anyone yet. The Jedi all drew and attacked him. He killed them all in duels fair and square. Well, I mean, he did kill Kalnaka. They didn't know that. But yeah, I get the premise of what you're saying, though. Haganino Kenshi for 5. Star Wars The Trashalite. Stephen DeLeon for 2. Ryan loves PP. Drag for $10. Hail to the 199. Quick question. What program do you guys use for thumbnails? Asking as a Gledling streamer.
I use what's it? PixArt.
I use Canva. I use PixArt
on my Android phone. I think the PixArt is available on iPhone as well.
Seeker of the Moon, member for 3 months. Jeremy, what's your favorite Star Wars character and why is it Babu Frick?
Babu Frick. I'm not sure I would have ever thought about Babu Frick if it wasn't for that fucking message. What was he in? Was he in
Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker.
He was like the mechanic guy.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
And then they had in Mando season 3, they had a whole family of Fricks. Whole family of Babu Fricks.
I didn't watch season 3, so.
Eric O'Sullivan for 10. Disney cannot hurt Lucas Canon. Lucas Canon's closed. Disney Canon is a photocopy given to children for their crayons. Lucas Canon is imperturbable and cannot be hurt by Disney's alt universe. Checo's Memories for 2. It was not a felony. It was not felony. It was Favreau, the savior of Star Wars. What fucking planet have you been on?
Neither one of them is the savior of Star Wars. That's the truth.
I saw literal fucking memes out there with Dave Filoni coming out of the clouds as if he was Jesus Christ. Like, a lot of people have talked about Filoni in that way for years.
Yeah, but they also have talked about Favreau too.
For sure. Well,
Yeah.
that's because of the fake rumors that were invented about Favreau and Filoni teaming up to take down Kathleen Kennedy.
I think that might have something to do with it, but also just the success of Mando season 1 and the fact that Favreau is the person that got the MCU off the ground and brought Robert Downey Jr. in. I think a lot of that played into it as well. So it was more than just that. Like, it was actually things that he has accomplished that gave people that faith as well. Like,
yeah,
he
he's
did accomplish
experienced.
things. Yes, he has accomplished things.
But I think one of the problems that we're now running into is that what has he done TV wise, right? And I think the reason that we're seeing so many problems from Disney projects in general, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, whatever, they don't know how to make TV. HBO has a ton of people that work there that know how to make television, that know how to structure things, that know how to prepare for them, that know how to set up episodes to be consistent times, like hour length, all these things. And so even if there's projects that you might not necessarily be a fan of that they're doing, a lot of it is much more competently done than what we're seeing from Disney.
Well, how did we get, and what my question is, and I agree with what you're saying, but how did we get the Netflix series?
Which ones?
Like Daredevil and Punisher and all of that.
Well, that was not necessarily like a MCU super focused thing, right?
Yeah, but it still was MCU.
It was not considered MCU until like a year ago when Kevin Feige said it is. That was not in the MCU timeline. It reacted to certain things that happened.
Yeah, like in Daredevil, there was mentions of like the Avengers and things like that. I was under the impression that the Netflix series was always part of MCU canon. I'm not saying I'm 100% on that. I'm just saying that was the impression I had always gotten, that they were part of the MCU, but just like a different take within the universe.
So in January of 2024, Marvel Studios officially canonized Daredevil and the 5 other Netflix shows, including Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist Defenders, and The Punisher, because they weren't considered part of it before. You remember that show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., absolutely, yeah.
That was not part of the universe either.
Really? I don't remember. I was always under the impression that was.
When it was in production, it was not. And it was for me, as somebody who's dealt with a lot of Star Wars stuff like this, like I was able to track it and kind of follow along. But no, those shows would react to things that happened in the MCU, like Battle of New York or discussions or things going on with Hydra. But nothing that happened in those shows was officially taking place in the MCU until January 2024. They've opened up the entire multiverse, and now it's part of the sacred timeline.
Okay. So that's interesting.
But while they were in production, it wasn't necessarily like that.
Okay.
Which is really fucking confusing.
Well, that's what happens when you do that type of stuff where you got all these different timelines, different stuff going on. So,
yep. Yeah. So like in MCU canon, what his name, Agent Coulson didn't like get resurrected and survive or whatever.
Right.
Chris Coran. Well, maybe he does now. We'll see what happens in another fucking timeline. Chris Coran for 2. Ryan, just checking to see if the shirt fits. I haven't picked it up yet, Chris. I haven't been able to get up there. That's my fault. M. Spencer for 2. Ryan, you're the cacophony. Thank you. MDA for 5. OMG investigation. Disney higher ups are white Jewish. Lower workers are diverse and non-white. Does this prove Lucas's white slavers comment? For 199. Hail 199. Y'all the goats. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blabs the Tower Tard for 5. Looks like Trump is announcing his VP. Glass shatters. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That'd be interesting.
I'd vote for that ticket. Red Phoenix the Wise for 5. Hey, Ryan, did you hear about the good news? Gina Carano's lawsuit has been moved forward. Let's go. Is that an official statement or just more of the...
I feel like it has. That was like 2 weeks ago. I feel like that. I know there was the fake story that came out, but then I feel like there was an actual story that went under the radar that it was moving to Discovery, but I don't know if it's confirmed or not.
Listen, I've not seen anything from Gina on that, and I feel like when that happens, Gina will tweet about it. Right?
Yeah, because there was a fake story that
There was
Gina
a bullshit
addressed.
story,
That
right.
Gina addressed.
But there was also at that same time, there was a story from the Hollywood Reporter that effectively was saying that the Hollywood Reporter's opinion about the appearance in court was that the judge was leaning towards letting it continue to move forward.
Okay.
But that wasn't based on an official ruling.
Okay.
So unless you can point me to a story where it says there's a ruling, I haven't seen anything from Gina about it. And until she tweets about it, I'm not going to really consider it official.
Agreed.
The Singing Tigs for 5. Sup, queers? Debate on my B-Day, eh? Jeremy, aren't you friends without having enough special tech nerds? How do you keep having cam problems? Ryan's hair gay. Hail 199.
Yeah, we're just retarded around here.
Boba Fett for 5. Over under. How much of this $180 million budget Leslie Headland took for her personal lesbian sex dungeon? Lisa Mill. Let's see. Tyler Harris for 5. Ryan, as a fellow Old Republic fan, when I first saw Kylo Ren's helmet, I thought immediately of Revan. That scene in the rain was dope. My God, what became. Yeah, well, the mask doesn't remind me too much of Revan's mask, especially with the weird teeth shit. But Sinister Mustache for 5. Rick Moranis pitched Spaceballs sequel called Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2. Could have been great. Update Spotify, sucker.
Yeah, we're gonna work on getting Spotify updated. My apologies on that.
Dirty Jersey, member for 13 months. Happy 13th birthday to my daughter, Ziera. If she doesn't get a shout out, you'll all
explode. If
she doesn't get a shout out, you'll all explode.
Well, there's the shout out right there, Dirty Jersey. All is good now. We're good. She's happy. You're happy. We're all happy.
Ricardo Jones provides, is there any chance the Acolyte is renewed for another season? It sounds crazy, but they are doing a Rey movie. I don't think so. There's a possibility.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I wouldn't bet on it. But yeah.
It's possible.
Act like there's no way.
No. It's 100% possible, 1,000% possible. But I don't think that it's probable.
I don't think so either. King Anonymous, member for 13 months. Will they be able to force heal that female Jedi that got turned into a pegboard? I don't know. There were some people that were saying that like it looked to me like he was going to force heal that wound she had on her side, but I couldn't tell in the moment if he did that or not. But there are some people that are saying he did it. I couldn't tell from what we had on video. Johnny the Wife Beater for 2. Dang nabbit, dishwasher stopped working again. Bashy Washy Lion, that is racist of you. I'm reporting you. Or hold on. I'm supposed to say it like this. Ryan, that is racist of you. I'm reporting you to the DEI Twitter. Jeremy is gay, by the way.
What's up, Bashy Washy? Haven't seen you much here lately, man. Good to see you, brother.
Kellen, KMK for 5. I understand Cortosis can disrupt sabers, but is it easily broken by hitting it? It is not something that will hold up to like, it's not like Beskar. It's not impermeable, right? With repeated and consistent strikes, it can be broken. So that's one of the downsides of Cortosis, right? It's not just some impregnable fucking thing, or shouldn't be, at least. You can break Cortosis with enough strikes. Because the saber does contact it, but it's almost as soon as it does contact and it might even start cutting it, it gets that feedback loop turned off and shorts out. Philip Butler for 199. Is Soul a Soros-funded Jedi? Maybe. Wild Man Beyond ready for Beverly Hills Cop 4 next week? I don't really care.
I'll probably check it out. I don't have high hopes.
Arnold Squash and N-word for 8. Disney. Lucasfilm needs to hire the following: Theory, me, Mahler, Drinker, Gary, Chris Gore, George Lucas, Jesus Christ, and God. Oh, thank you. Yankovic for 5. Disney, all company meeting about what you should or should not say about Disney policy on your Tinder date. I'm sure they're kind of panicking right now because they probably know there's a lot more that's about to come out.
Alec Baldwin's finger for 50. Says this community is the best. Hail the 199 and the fellowship. Congrats to the GCA for 500 subs. Let's fucking go, guys. That's awesome. Thank you, ABF.
Titty Smacker. Star Wars is dead. It's all about Hot D. I mean, I'm excited about House of the Dragon coming out, but certainly a lot of talk about Star Wars still, too. If only Smilo had a blonde wig on, no one would have recognized him as the guy from the apothecary. Throw on some Clark Kent glasses, too. Well, that is also one of the dumb things, right? There is no reason that they should have ever not arrested him in the second episode. Like, they should have arrested him. They should have taken him into custody. But they didn't because they wanted May to go meet with him again. But they don't even have that happen. There's no reason there's no reason he needed to stay free. They could have had him in custody. They could have had him in custody. They could have had him under arrest. And they could have just intercepted May as she was walking there like they did in the show. So the entire reason that he wasn't put in cuffs or wasn't put in Jedi custody doesn't make any fucking sense. And that now explains why, because they needed him to stay free.
That's right.
Louis C for 10. Jeremy, watch out for undercover journalists on Grindr and Farmers Only. Dude, the Farmers Only commercials are still hilarious.
They are so good. They are so good. Is Gary in the chat? What's up, Gary?
What's up, Gary? Cameron Varati for 5. If y'all are not looking up your dating app dates on LinkedIn, you're doing it wrong. Stephen DeLeon. Hold on, I won't. That was weird. This is for Jeremy's eyebrow transplant fund.
Thank you.
Dante Calevra for 5. Haven't seen a trans character yet. Chance to Smilo Ren is the horned mom who had a sex change. There was a trans character as a witch.
Yes, we got our representation.
We did. And I not even knowing who the character was. I think it was our EFAP review that we did. They just like were panning past a couple of like hooded witch faces. I was like, well, that looks like a fuck. Because I was like, where are all the men? Where are all the men in this place? I'm like, oh, well, that looks like a fucking man. Turns out it was. Let's see. Mo Zamboni for 5. Thanks, Jeremy and Ryan, for helping us get to 500. We really hope you enjoy our videos and live streams. Hail the fellowship.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys. It's awesome. Appreciate it.
Obi-Wan can blow me for 5. Ryan, I had a dream last night. You were down on all fours, howling at a full moon, pretending to be a werewolf. Should I get help? For your dream? Yeah, I'm fine, though. Exalted Patriarch for 5. Soul will kill Smilo, take his helmet, paint it brack, and start the Nice of Ren.
Brack.
Yeah. Linko Kenobi for 10. What's up, guys? Looking forward to the debate that'll be streaming tonight. Let's see how it plays. James O'Keefe is the GOAT. I hate Disney even more. Anyway, see you guys tonight. Hail the 199.
Yeah, so for those of you that will be tuning in, it will be on my D-Day Cobra channel tonight. Now, I don't know what CNN's going to do, but I'll be live on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and Twitter. So if for some reason you don't see it on YouTube, it's because it was taken down. I don't know what CNN's going to pull. I really don't.
Vault 95 Survivor over on Rumble for $1. Trump should show up 30 minutes late so Joe's drugs wear off sooner. Vault 95 Survivor for $1. Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2. Eric John Pizza Artist for 2. Ted was last good comedy. Before that, it was a hangover. I thought Ted was okay. I didn't like Ted 2, though.
Yeah, wasn't that great.
Lone Wolf for $2. Trump should have someone with an electric jammer there to jam Dementia Joe's earpiece.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out tonight. There's going to be a hell of a lot of one-liners tonight.
Nagarnal for 5. Thanks for the push, guys, and thanks for all the new subs. The GCA is now over 500. That really means a lot. If we disappoint you, we promise to do so as best we can.
That's a good way to look at it.
David Hand for 20. Anyone remember playing XWA? I think an Azamine series. This is X-Wing Alliance. I love X-Wing Alliance, by the way. I think an Ace Azamine series set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi would be a low-key banger. But I would fucking love it. I loved all those. X-Wing versus TIE, like all that shit. I just sat down in my basement. I made my mom buy me a joystick just for that game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Little Star Wars flight simulator. Gung Ho Mac, 17 months. Lightsabers are more effective when you rub them together. It's a master Jedi technique called force docking. Thank you. Kellen for 10. Ryan, I appreciate your knowledge of Star Wars. Side note, what does GCA stand for?
Late and gay. That's all I know. I don't know if they actually have a breakdown for what GCA stands for, but they had the late and gay with the GCA. What did what was somebody said? Gay Comics Association is what somebody said.
Gay Comics Association, yeah. I don't know. Geeks can achieve.
Geeks.
Sounds like something Josiah and Ben would have been behind a couple years ago.
We just can't tell people. Jessica says there is, but they can't tell people. We're going to call it Gay Comics Association for now. So.
It's probably got to be something vulgar then if they can't tell people. It's like gay coming ass. Let's see.
All geeks win.
Geeks always win.
No, it's
Chris
all geeks win. It's all geeks win. That's what
all
the
geeks
line is.
win. Sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect them. Chris M, health and relaxation for 5. Hail 199, Rippaverse, Rebellion, big ups. Ryan, I agree with Jay. Hope you can stream debate with no issues, Jeremy. Trump, MAGA 2024.
Hail, let's go. We'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be an interesting one.
Matt for $2. Rumor was the trans character was Philosophy Tube. That's not a rumor. That is the truth. Tobias Nexus for 10. I would say Disney should hire furries since we're diverse, but any sane fur wouldn't want to deal with that insanity. We may be degenerates, but we're not that degenerate. But don't speak for all of you. There's some out there. But thank you, Tobias.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I believe, right, Ryan? We're at the end. We are at the end. So I'm going to get everything set up for my stream later tonight, and I'll have that link up fairly early so you guys can go over there. I don't have it yet, so I can't raid the stream. But looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, I will be streaming it to Rumble. So I have a D-Day Cobra Rumble channel. I'm on Kick. I'm on Twitter. When Elon has already said that there's no DMCA that's going to apply to Twitter. And of course, I'll be on YouTube as well. So thank you guys so much. The road to 400K. I will be continuing to make a ton of videos for this channel. And I'm excited to, see what numbers we can pull, but I'm ready to hit 400K. It's been too long. I've been really focused on this channel the last 3-4 weeks, and I'm not slowing down now. We're going to keep kicking ass. So, yeah, appreciate you guys' support on these streams. Thank you so much. I think we got one more, Ryan.
James Opp for 2. Fox is rebroadcasting the debate. Thank you. And then Blackguard for 10. I want the last episode to reveal that Discount Ezra Miller changes his name to Sheev Palpatine. No, please. Ushbala for 2. Leslie Headland is impregnable.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Thanks for smashing the melee button and all the love and the super chats and the gifted memberships. Thank you. Have a great day. I'll see you for the debate tonight on D-Day Cobra. Bye, everybody.
Bye.